Do we know if Public Works is going to?
Is Melanie coming or?
Hold on our way.
Did you want to wait a minute?
Let's give him a. Give her. Miss English, nice of you to join us. Good morning, everybody. We are here Monday, September 27th. Will the clerk please call the order?
Good morning. Calling the roll for the Monday, September 27th Board of Control meeting. It is 11:01. Van Baker. Here. Dale Miller.
Here.
Trevor McAleer serving as an alternate for Purnell Jones.
Here.
Nicole English serving as an alternate for Mike Dever.
Here.
Mike Chambers serving as an alternate for Erman Budish.
Here.
Lee Tucker serving as an alternate for the Fiscal Officer.
Here.
Catherine Tekachuk.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. Next on our agenda is a review of the minutes. I'm going to make a motion to approve the minutes from September 20th. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Lee Tucker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Do we have any public comment today?
No public comment.
Okay, moving on to the first item, please.
First item, BC 2021-519, Department of Public Works, recommending a payment on a purchase order to Northeast Ohio Area-Wide Coordinating Agency in the amount of $221,238 for annual membership dues for the period July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022.
Nicole English for Public Works. This is our annual payment to NOACA. It's calculated based on census data, so our county is calculated in comparison to the other 4 counties in NOACA, and so this is a set fee that they bill us annually, and it is for the whole year, the fiscal year. They're on a state fiscal year. So we didn't receive the invoice until after July happened, and then by the time it made its way to Public Works, I think it goes to the executive's office and gets down to us. We put it in the system as quick as we could.
Okay, thank you, Nicole. Are there any questions from the board on this item? Councilwoman Baker, please.
Why would NOACA, for a $200,000 membership fee, be late? Why wouldn't they have this to us like in April or May or June? Do they give a reason why they submit it late?
I believe they have to wait for the year to, their next year to start, so they wait until the fiscal year starts and then they bill us. I mean, there's some cities that they're tracking down until like the last minute in June, you know, so I mean, some people pay way late. It's for the whole year.
Yeah.
They anticipate you're going to pay. I guess they're not short on cash. I'm not sure why they're not sending it sooner, but I mean, we process it, you know, as quick as it makes its way down to us.
Okay, just curious. Thank you.
Any additional questions on this item? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2021-520, Department of Public Works, recommending an award on requisition 6502 and enter into a contract with Disaster Reconstruction Incorporated, doing business as Service Master by Disaster Recon, in the amount not to exceed $200,000 for specialty cleaning and environmental mitigation services for various county buildings for the period September 27th, 2021 through September 26th, 2023.
Good morning, Tom Pavich, Department of Public Works. This item is a recommendation of award to a Service Master. This is for our, not just our sanitizing of buildings, but this is more so for water damage mitigation, smoke, fire damage in any of our county buildings. It's an as-needed service, so there's no payout unless we actually need the service. It was a competitive RFP. We had 2 submissions. One was compliant. We're going to go with that, make that award to that vendor.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Are there questions on this item from the board? Mr. McAleer.
Good morning, Tom. There was an advanced question about, did this contract help cleanup for the prosecutor's office with the recent flood? And I think the answer was no, but was a similar service provided for the prosecutor's office in terms of cleanup, or was Public Works not involved in that? Do you know?
We'd have to ask Reimer. I'm wondering if it was done by our own internal staff?
That may have been done internal by our custodial crew. I'm not sure of the extent of the damage. These guys usually focus on, mold, smoke, fire damage, water. I'm not sure the damage is actually done there. I mean, we can send a follow-up email.
Yeah, I know his staff, Reimer's staff was over there
Okay.
working, so I just don't know if he needed anything outside. But my guess is from his answer is it's kind of meaning, no, there wasn't an outside service. He did it himself. Not personally, but his staff.
Matt was over there with the fire.
I can double check with him.
Okay, any final questions on this item? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Mackler. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2021-521, Department of Development, recommending an award and enter into an agreement with Cuyahoga County Planning Commission in the amount not to exceed $50,000 for planning activities and technical assistance for various economic development initiatives to support communities in Cuyahoga County for the period September 27th, 2021 through July 31st, 2022.
Good morning, Paul Herdig with the Department of Development. The Department of Development has provided funds to the County Planning Commission for many years, mainly in connection with our community development block grant funded programs. We've relied on their expertise in terms of planning these activities, in meeting HUD requirements and so forth and so on. As we started to work on the next update of our 5-year economic development plan, we realized that we also needed some of their assistance in areas beyond block grant into general economic development. So we set aside in our budget about $50,000 to be used to ask the Planning Commission to work with us on economic development. Currently, there's 2 areas we're asking them to focus, although we believe others will arise during the term of the contract. The areas at this time are firstly looking at the place-based aspects of our 5-year economic development plan, because that's an area where good understanding of the land use plans and assets of each of our communities is important to help us focus that work geographically. The second area is specifically in East Cleveland, where the Department of Development's been working to support the city of East Cleveland over the past couple of years, and where we've reached the point where there's a need for some planning expertise in a number of specific geographical areas that the mayor and his administration are working to develop. So those would be the first 2 projects, but as I say, there may be others that come up during the term of the contract.
Thank you, Paul. Are there questions from the board? Mr. Mackler? Oh, sorry. No? Okay, seeing no questions from the board, I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. English. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next
Thank you.
item.
Next item, BC 2021-522, Department of Information Technology, submitting an RFP exemption, which will result in an award recommendation to Joanne Jackson in the amount not to exceed $65,520 for technical support services for the implementation and maintenance of the real property and CAMA tax services system for the period September 27th, 2021 through September 26th, 2022, and recommending the award in connection with said RFP exemption.
Janelle Green on behalf of the Department of IT. This item is in support of the fiscal department activities to implement the Harris portion of the Harris project for the tax system, and also to maintain the CAMA systems. Joanne Jackson is a former full-time county employee that worked in this capacity. She's coming back on a part-time basis, less than 20 hours per week, to help out with the testing and the functional testing for the system integration. According to our technical team, there's about 1,600 test cases that need to be tested before we roll to live. Joanne will be the first of 2 contracts that we'll be bringing forward. There will be another retiree that we are bringing forth next week. Both of them have critical knowledge on these systems, and in order to meet the deadlines that the real property team has set up, we like to bring those people in order to maintain and test the systems.
Thank you, Janelle. Are there questions from the board on this item? Councilman Miller.
My understanding is that the tax portion of the system is scheduled to go live around October 1st of 2022, a year from now. Are we still on schedule for that date?
Bringing in these two former employees will allow us to still stick to that timeline, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Councilwoman Baker, please.
So these two people, this one and the next, they've retired. Have they been replaced?
In terms of the hiring, I don't think they've been replaced yet.
Okay, so this is filling a void
Correct.
of what we don't have since they left.
Correct, and also they were long-time employees, so they have internal knowledge that we can't get when we bring in somebody new.
Okay, but as far as,
I know, they have not been replaced yet, though.
okay.
I know
Thank
there's a posting for one in the treasurer's office to help do what the next guy is going to be doing. The person will be coming next week.
Okay,
Joanne, we try to divide up her knowledge, but she's one person that had the whole circle, And it's very important at this point, we're that close, so.
right.
Yeah,
I understand. Thank you.
sure. Any additional questions on this item? Mr. Mackler?
Janelle, has Joanne gone through the Inspector General's office and registered and all that?
Yeah, she is registered.
Good to go, okay.
Any last minute questions? Seeing none, then I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2021-523, Court of Common Pleas, Juvenile Court Division, submitting an amendment to a contract with Belfair Jewish Children's Bureau in the amount not to exceed $60,547 for evidence-based integrated co-occurring treatment services for youth involved in the Promise Team for the period May 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021, to extend the time period to June 30th, 2022, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $60,000.
Good morning, Tamika Ballard, Juvenile Court. We are requesting approval for the amendment of the evidence-based ICT services for our female youth participating in our Promise Team who have dual status involvement with the Juvenile Court and the Department of Children and Family Services due to their behavioral health problems and concerns. These youth are at risk at out-of-home placement. This project is set up for the youth that we're trying to avoid them from getting into residential placement and commitment to the Ohio Department of Youth Services. The services for the youth are for 4 to 5 hours per week for 3 to 6 months with a focus on mentoring, educational support, vocational training, and others. And there are more of these reclaim amendments coming forth. And the reason why they're late is because we don't get our allocation for our reclaim grants until after July the 1st of the year, every year. So once we do get that, then it has to go downtown, of course, for the allocations and everything. But we're working on these now, so that's mostly what I'll be dealing with moving forward.
Okay, thank you, Tamika. Are there questions from the board on this one? Okay, seeing none, then I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second? Seconded by Councilman Miller. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2021-524, Court of Common Pleas, Juvenile Court Division, submitting an amendment to a contract with Ohio Guidestone for high-fidelity wraparound case management services for the period September 1st, 2017 through June 30th, 2021, to extend the time period to June 30th, 2022, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $28,750.
Hi, Tamika Ballard. Yeah, this one, we would like to request approval to utilize these case management services to divert our youth from the official court involvement that come off the street through our intervention center. And the youth are not adjudicated at this time, and the youth in the detention center do not qualify for these services.
Okay, thank you again, Tamika. Questions from the board on this item? Seeing none, I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second? Seconded by Councilman Miller. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2021-525, Court of Common Pleas, Juvenile Court Division, submitting an amendment to a contract with Cleveland Rape Crisis Center for 7 on-site training sessions for court staff for the period July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021, to extend the time period to June 30th, 2022, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $7,950.
Hi, we are asking for approval for the trauma training for our court staff for related topics that improve interpersonal relations and development trauma-informed responses among the staff so that they can effectively relate to the youth that are served. The focus is going to be on the probation and detention center management. It helps improve the court staff's leadership styles that will allow folks to learn to supervise in a more trauma-informed approach. Participants will also learn skills of how to apply accountability for staff to improve outcomes and work performance, which will allow for creating a safer space for the youth and families that we serve. And we are actually training approximately 50 people.
Okay, thank you again, Tamika. Questions from the board on this item? Okay, seeing none, I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second, please? Seconded by Mr. Macular. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2021-526, Court of Common Pleas, Juvenile Court Division, submitting an amendment to a contract with the Village Network for Safe Space Housing Services for court-referred youth for the period October 1st, 2018 through June 30th, 2021, to extend the time period to June 30th, 2022, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $20,000.
Hi, Tamika Ballard. This program is for court-referred youth, which allow for the safe space for youth for 21 days or less. It provides a safe area for the victims of human trafficking until we can find placement and get services in place for the youth that are assessed. And the assessments can begin, and staff can begin to plan for youth, forgive me. It used to be part of our VOCA grant, but when the VOCA grant significantly decreased, it became part of our reclaim grant. VOCA funding used to be around $200,000 range, somewhere in there, and now it's down to like $82,000, which does not give us enough funds to cover costs, which is why we moved some of the services over to reclaim.
Okay, thank you. Questions from the board on this item? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Nicole English. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2021-527, Court of Common Pleas, Juvenile Court Division, and Department of Health and Human Services, Division of Children and Family Services, submitting an amendment to a contract with Case Western Reserve University on behalf of the Begun Center for Violence Prevention, Mandel School of Applied Social Sciences, for multisystemic therapy training and consultation services for the period July 1st, 2016 through June 30th, 2021, to extend the time period to June 30th, 2022, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $75,600.
Hi, Tamika Ballard again. This evidence-based model requires for continuous education for our staff that is essential to keeping up on the current trends of the multi-systemic therapy so that they don't fall back into the old modes. Staff is required to have certain training levels of this in order to keep it as an evidence-based model. It provides for weekly MST phone consultations for both teams, and that's for Juvenile Court and DCFS. And they have 4 booster training sessions per team as well. Case Western University is the only local provider right now who can provide these services, and the funding sources will be coming half and half, 50% from Juvenile Court's Reclaim grant and 50% from the Health and Human Service levy for DCFS.
Okay, thank you. Questions from the board on this item? Yes, Councilwoman Baker, please.
Thank you. Has the Health and Human Services always been 50% of this contract?
I have Director Bridget Gibbons here with me. I'll feel more comfortable with her answering that.
Okay.
Yeah, the simple answer
Is yes?
Yes. In all the recent years, I know we each have teams of MST therapists in the court, and also that we contract with. So we use Case Western Reserve for the consultation for that. MST Services has a proprietorship over it, and so they only allow certain universities and agencies to also do the consultation.
Okay.
So we share that with DCFS.
And that's the same as the contract last year. We're just continuing that,
Yes.
really? Okay. Thank you for that answer.
Sure. Additional questions on this item? Okay, seeing none then, I will make a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
A second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Baker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved.
Thank you.
Next item.
Next
Thank
item, BC 2021-528, Department of Public Safety and Justice Services, submitting an RFP exemption which will result in an award recommendation to Mental Health Services for Homeless Incorporated, doing business as Frontline Service, in the amount not to exceed $105,000 for Defending Childhood Central Intake and Assessment Services in connection with the fiscal year 2021 Victims of Crime Act grant for the period September 27th, 2021 through December 31st, 2022, and recommending the award in connection with said RFP exemption.
I apologize, Sharon. For the first time, I realized that this is making reference to the VOCA grant. If you could please remove that. This is actually general fund, our operating budget monies.
Same period, time period though, and
Everything
Yeah,
else is the
okay.
same. It's just, like I said, just standing here as she read it, I realized that
Okay.
that language is there. Thank you. The Frontline conducts intake and assessment for children who've been victimized by violent crimes and they also provide therapy. There's been an upsurge in violent crimes that's resulted in an increase for demand for services. Frontline is our witness victims partner in the Defending Childhood Services program, and we're looking to enter into a contract to address the upsurge in demand.
Okay, so real quick, I just want to make sure it's not HHS levy funds, it's general fund, you're saying?
The witness victim is supported by HHS.
So it is HHS?
It is
Okay,
HHS,
sorry,
yes.
So make sure that, okay. Are there questions from the board on this item? Councilman Miller, please.
What do we believe accounts for the rise in violent crime that we've seen over the summer, both locally and nationally?
Okay, for that, I have Jill Smilik, our manager over witness victim.
Good morning, I'm Jill Smilik from the county's Witness Victim Services. I think that's a really complex question and an important one. I think there has been a surge that a lot of people are attributing to COVID and the fact that people have increased societal pressures, including poverty, joblessness, things like that, that are just kind of resulting in a sense of hopelessness for a lot of people, unfortunately. I think that's kind of what we're pointing to over time is just kind of people don't have the opportunities to get involved with the community and feel support the way that maybe they did before.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Additional questions on this item? Seeing none, then I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second? As amended, please. Seconded by Councilman Miller. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item approved.
Thank you.
Next item. Thank you.
Next item, BC 2021-529, Office of the Medical Examiner, submitting an RFP exemption which will result in an award recommendation to Alere San Diego Incorporated, doing business as Immunalysis Corporation, in the amount not to exceed $14,375.57 for the purchase of enzyme-linked immunosorbent assay reagent kits, and recommending award in connection with said RFP exemption.
Hugh Shannon, Medical Examiner's Office. This is a purchase of kits for the toxicology laboratory to run our basic drug screens. The ELISA machine is the machine that currently does that. It is late. I got an advanced question. We had a opportunity to buy a new ELISA a few years ago. The equipment itself was a very good deal. As a result, though, we were tied into getting a certain number of kits from Immunalysis. When that period expired, we had a new option that would do the same job, so we didn't want to lock into another contract with them. That is coming online very shortly. It was delayed because it was one of the purchases earlier this year with the opioid funds. It's just taking longer to get the equipment validated. We had to have some outside folks come in, and they're unable to travel. They were unable to travel for a while with COVID, and we had issues getting the opioid funds moved into the proper accounts earlier this year, so it just delayed things a bit. This was actually from May. the orders are usually very similar in size and scope. So the costs are very similar, and this one was just missed because it was so similar to one that we thought we had already paid, so.
Okay, thanks, you. Questions on this item, please? Seeing no questions, I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second? Seconded by Mr. Macular. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next
Thank you.
item.
Next item, BC 2021-530, Department of Health and Human Services, Division of Senior and Adult Services, recommending an award and enter into a contract with CareStar Learning LLC in the amount not to exceed $2,000 for online educational training services for home health aides for the period September 1st, 2021 through August 31st, 2024.
Good morning. Paul Porter, Health and Human Services, on behalf of the Division of Senior and Adult Services. This is a 3-year contract for continuing education services, online training for DSAS home health aides. This covers up to 100 employees that provide these services under the auspices of the Division of Senior and Adult Services. As part of the state requirements for the provision of these services, the home health aides are required to undergo annual continuing education training. So this vendor makes available an online library of training that can be accessed at any time by the DSAS employees. I will note that this is a 3-year agreement. Previously, we had a 2-year agreement that was for $1,500, so $1,000 for the first year and $500 for the second year. By entering into a 3-year agreement this time around, when we put the informal bid out, we were able to get 2 additional years at $500. So it's still $1,000 for year 1, but then years 2 and 3 are both billed at $500. That does represent a significant savings. This is a vendor that we've done business with for a number of years, and I will note that the other bidder that submitted a bid came in substantially higher at over $14,000. So we really do get a good value for these required services.
Thank you, Paul. Questions from the board on this item? Yes, Councilwoman Baker, please.
Just curious, because this is all online for training services and it's mandated, is there a test or some type of accountability piece at the end to make sure that that person who's taking this online remotely from where they're at
Sure.
absorb the material?
Yes, so we do have the ability to track within DSAS who has completed what trainings. There's typically kind of an exit review for each training. The supervisors at DSAS can review those scores, can review how many employees have completed trainings, what modules they've completed, and then as we get towards the end of the year, you know, how many staff have hours left to go that they have to complete. So part of this service is kind of that, you know, menu, if you will, that the supervisors and managers can review to see if the staff are on track to meet the state requirements.
Okay, so this isn't really, this is just another tool then. This isn't really a mandated piece that we need to do. This is just a reinforcement to prepare them for what it is that they do, or?
So no, this is online continuing education. So everything that's provided under this is required by the state in terms of the actual trainings themselves. Kind of the above and beyond piece, I guess, is that the supervisors and managers can go in and review how their staff are doing on the trainings throughout the years. So we don't actually have to provide the training. In the past, trainings like this might have been delivered by a DSAS manager or supervisor or somebody within the HHS training department. By going with an outside vendor, which we've done for several years, we're able to access a huge library of different trainings. I think maybe over 100 different trainings on various topics that would apply to the job. And that meets the state mandate for, I think it's 8 hours per year for individual.
Is there a pass-fail on this or no?
Not usually. I could find out about that. There's usually just kind of an exit review after each module.
Okay. Okay, if there's a, yeah, if there is, let me know.
Sure.
Just to make sure that that is in fact, I mean, when it's remote,
Yeah,
when it's, done on your own time, and there's no exit accountability, you wonder, how do
Sure.
we know, that that's been digested and understood?
absolutely. I'll gather that information. And again, I think there is an exit review. I'm just not sure that it fails you on it. It might let the supervisor know, but I'll get you the specific info on
Okay,
that.
thank you.
Are there additional questions in this item? Okay, seeing none, I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Baker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2021-531, Department of Health and Human Services, Community Initiatives Division, Office of Reentry, submitting an amendment to a contract with Towards Employment Incorporated for the creation of a social enterprise business to place and support job-ready reentry workers into transitional jobs for the period February 13th, 2020 through February 14th, 2023, to expand the scope of services to establish an employee assistance program for the employees of Achieve Staffing effective September 27th, 2021, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $200,000.
Good morning, Simeon Best with Health and Human Services, Office of Reentry. The Office of Reentry entered in contract with Towards Employment to create a social enterprise business that would place job-ready reentry workers in competitive, temporary, and temp-to-hire jobs to assist them with successfully entering into the workforce. So the social enterprise, which is Achieve Staffing, is an employment agency that provides businesses with temporary staffing and permanent placements through the employment of returning citizens, and it's exclusive to them. So the amendment is the Employee Assistance Program, which provides additional services to them so they can successfully stay in the community, which is transportation, childcare, legal services, things like that. And so here we have before you the amendment.
Thank you. Are there questions on this item from the board? Okay, seeing none, then I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second? Seconded by Mr. Macular. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item approved. Thank you. Next item.
Okay, moving on to exemptions, item BC 2021-532, Department of Public Works, recommending an alternative procurement process, which will result in a participation agreement with the City of Brecksville Purchasing Consortium in the amount not to exceed $49,500 for the purchase of sodium chloride for the period November 1st, 2021 through October 31st, 2022.
Good morning, Tom Pavich, Public Works. This is the approval of the participation agreement with the City of Brecksville. We do this every year for our road salt. We don't do the roads in the township anymore. This is just for the county parking lots and walkways. We participate with the City of Brecksville, 11 other cities. We did a bid this year. We had 3 bid submissions. We're going to be coming back to the board with the actual purchase order for the to-be awarded vendor.
Thank you, Tom. Questions from the board on this item? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second? Seconded by Ms. Nicole English. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Moving on.
Moving on to the consent agenda, items BC 2021-533 through 534.
Hey, board members, feel free if there's any questions or if you need more time, give a minute here. Does anyone have any questions on today's consent agenda items? Okay, seeing none, I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Item approved. Moving on to other business, please.
We have a time-sensitive mission-critical item, item BC 2021-535, Department of Health and Human Services, Community Initiatives Division, Office of Homeless Services, recommending an award and enter into a contract with North Coast Community Homes Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $9,000 for residential placement for homeless individuals and families who have tested positive for COVID-19 for the period September 9th, 2021 through March 8th, 2022.
Good morning, David Merriman, Director of Department of Health and Human Services. I'm here presenting this item in conjunction with the Office of Homeless Services. The North Coast Community Homes is a provider of the Cuyahoga County Department of Disabilities and is a group home that services adults with disabilities. They have currently remained vacant throughout, or this group home site has remained vacant throughout COVID. We reached out to Kelly Petty from the Department of Developmental Disabilities to see if she had any space that could be repurposed for COVID positive residents that could not return home. Kelly connected us to this contractor, and we were able to negotiate with them a $1,500 a month lease for this group home. This is on a month-to-month basis, and so we project that we could be using it for up to 6 months, hence the $9,000. And our hope is that we won't need it, but the expectation based upon the Delta variant is that we might need multiple group homes. This is a tough situation because there have been weeks where these COVID placement sites have been full, and there have been weeks and months where no one has used them. So we are developing this as a contingency in case there's continued increase in cases, and we begin to get more referrals out of the hospitals for individuals that would otherwise be going back to congregate care facilities. Happy to stop there and answer any questions.
Thank you, David. Questions from the board on this item? Councilman Miller, please.
Just a comment that I'm hopeful that COVID-19 is going to start to run its course soon, but I think this is a very prudent action on your part, and I strongly support it, and if we need more, we should get them.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Mackler, please.
Good morning, Dave.
Good morning.
How many people can stay at the group home?
So my memory is, and I don't know if Paul has that with him as well, but my memory is there are 3 bedrooms or 3 living spaces. I think we can hold up to 10. We do also, through our contractor, Lutheran Metro Ministry, provide on-site assistance. There's someone there supporting the residents 24 hours a day. There's a medical service from a local STNA. There is food service that brings in food from the Lutheran Metro Ministry, and then staff that provide evening security, but these are unarmed staff.
And then have we talked to Mayor Blackwell, just as a heads up, or let her know that they are, in essence, using the group home for a little different purpose than what it originally is intended for?
I have not. I don't know if the group home owner or anyone else has.
I'm thinking though, David, and we could talk later, but it might be beneficial that just a phone call's made to her just to give her a heads up, just considering our history that we've had with local officials.
Yeah, let's talk.
Okay, any additional questions on this item? Seeing none, I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second? Seconded by Councilman Miller. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved.
Thank you.
Additional other business?
Yes, we have 2 additional items. Item BC 2021-536, Prosecutor's Office, submitting an RFP exemption, which will result in an award recommendation to MNJ Technologies Direct in the amount not to exceed $94,227.70 for the purchase of network computer server storage hardware upgrades for the Internet Crimes Against Children's Task Force, and recommending the award in connection with said RFP exemption.
My name is Jim Ginley. I'm the Fiscal Director for the Prosecutor's Office, and this item is completely funded with ICAC grant monies and is related to our catastrophic emergency situation with our computer pieces, because we were going to replace some antiquated equipment. Now it's useless equipment.
Okay. I'm going to make a motion to add this to today's agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Nicole English. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Now that it's formally added, are there any questions from the board on this item? Seeing none then, Jim, I'm going to make a motion to approve this item. Do I have a second? Seconded by Ms. Nicole English. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The item is approved.
Okay, the next item is item BC 2021-537, Prosecutor's Office, submitting an RFP exemption, which will result in an award recommendation to MNJ Technologies Direct in the amount not to exceed $332,651.50 for the purchase of network computer server storage hardware upgrades for the criminal division. Recommending the award in connection with said RFP exemption.
This item is funded completely from savings that we have from the 2021 allocation. It requires no additional appropriation. Again, this is crucial to our catastrophic problem, and the equipment is useless now, not just to be replaced.
Thank you again, Jim. I'm going to make a motion to add this item to today's agenda. Do I have a second? Second by Councilman Miller. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The item is formally added. Are there any questions on this item?
Yes.
Councilman Miller.
In the previous item, you kind of suggested that the equipment was close to the end of its useful lifetime anyway and was due to be replaced. To what extent is that the case in this situation as well?
Well, the $332,000 was also an item that we were contemplating for a system-wide storage, file server, data processing equipment overhaul that was much needed, again, with antiquated equipment. But now the equipment is, our system is almost not operational. They are building it each day and trying diligently, our IT department, to get us back to what we were prior to a week ago.
So you're saying this is something that you were basically planning to do anyway, but because of the catastrophic event, it just got expedited.
Right. These particular pieces right here, there's additional items that are directly related. For instance, you had asked that question earlier if there were a private company involved in the cleanup. It was just Public Works. But in the data retrieval piece, there are private companies that we're going to expend money on. I know council had asked for an estimate, which we're working on, for above and beyond what we're funded at that would be required. Right now, we're working on that.
Additional questions? Mr. Mackler, please.
Jim, were they able to recover all the data and information? Have they completed that?
That's not been completed as far as I know. I know that it's in process.
And then are you aware of any other similar type purchases to get everything back to normal that might be coming down the road?
Right now, I do know of a couple items that we had a meeting with Catherine this morning, who could not have been more helpful. She was excellent, sharing everybody, asking for information. But there are some requisitions that are in various states of process. And there'll be additional ones that are beyond the scope of this. There's another one for $333,000 that was for PC upgrades that we had already inputted into the system, but that's not as, it's crucial, but not as crucial as these two items today. We have to pursue these items today.
Yeah, just to add on that. So we have a couple that we think will come next week that are, I think, purchases off a state contract. You know, obviously these haven't gone through the review, but so that's why we tried to identify which ones were the absolute needed to take forward, and then the rest of them we're going to prioritize to review, so they're coming forward to you with the normal review process.
Do you see any of these upcoming purchases that would require an additional appropriation, or do you think you can do it currently with existing budget?
These items that we've talked about, the 5 requisitions, we are using existing appropriation and not requesting council for additional funding. But beyond this, meaning data retrieval and items, we've spent some LATF money, law enforcement trust fund money, but there's other items that I am not aware of that I know our IT people are working on. And I'm going to have that prepared, and they're working on it, and then we'll relay it to council.
I just want to make sure we time it up in terms of making an available council meeting and something not getting delayed because you don't have enough appropriation.
Right. Our last item that I think prompted this question was $100,000 being transferred to another area. That's a proactive move by Mike O'Malley, trying to anticipate what's going to happen. It's inevitable. There's going to be other entities required outside of the county for this.
Thank you. Any final questions? Councilwoman Baker, please.
Again, just a curious question. Insurance? There's no insurance on.
No, I mean, the county has
like
a self-insurance fund, but I don't know if this would qualify for that at all. I don't know.
This isn't catastrophic, so I mean, it's important, but it's not the dollar amount that would be,
That
you'd have to reach.
Okay.
You don't like that, go ahead, Miss English.
I was just gonna say, I mean, we should probably just talk to Risk to confirm. I would think you should send the information over there. I mean, we do on even smaller stuff, just so they have it, so I don't know.
Certainly worth documenting, but I do believe it's not gonna reach that level, but go ahead.
Yeah, 'cause I think $1 million is
Okay,
sometimes
well.
the.
If I may,
Yeah.
we're talking 300,000 here and probably more. So maybe when we know the total number of what the loss is, that may equal an amount that they may take a look at.
It could be, but I just know our insurance premiums are catastrophic, otherwise we'd be paying a lot of money.
Like 3 million or something.
Yeah, so I think we're still well below that, but. Sure, yeah, absolutely. Okay, any final questions before we approve? I will make a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
And any other items?
No other business?
Any other public comment?
No public comment.
I'm going to make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Miller. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.